All right, so guess what I'm in right now? Guess what I am currently driving? Yes, I am in the driver's seat of the all-new and first ever 2024 Chevrolet Silverado EV, and not just any of the EV Silverados. This is the RST First Edition, the one with all the bells and whistles, and I'm here to give you my first drive review. Let's go. All right, so I have to say a couple things. First and foremost, I know that many of you out there are not EV fans, especially you truck customers. Listen, I come from a truck background. I come from if you didn't know this, I actually come from a motorsports background. My dad owned a Yamaha dealership. I raced snowcross with Yamaha and ATV motocross, and I always hauled everything around, a race trailer and everything in an ice-powered truck, which I still actually own an ice-powered, diesel, powered half-ton truck, 3-liter Duramax. Love it to death, great fuel. However, I absolutely love the Silverado EV, and what I'm getting at is, I know many of you out there make comments on in my Instagram and everything, junk, blah, blah, blah. First of all, I'm sure many of you have never even driven one, but there's a difference between something being junk and maybe it not working for you specifically. Let's remember that not every Corvette that's out on the market right now works for everybody. Yeah, it's expensive, and it's only made for what it's made for, but it's made for what it's made for, right? And it's no different with this truck. This truck is still a truck. It's capable of truck things. Does it work for everybody's application? No, it does not necessarily work for everybody's application, and that is specifically why Chevrolet and GMC, for that matter, still make ICE trucks, HD trucks, half-ton trucks, the Colorado, the Canyon, and so on, to suit your needs for depending on what it is you need to do. However, again, all that being said, we're in a truck with over 700 horsepower, over 700 pound-feet of torque, and over 400 miles of range, 440 miles of range to be more exact. And I'm sure if you push it, you'll get more than that. That is a safe estimate. And so, and again, pulling 10,000 pounds is no slouch either. So for somebody who doesn't travel great distances necessarily, which they still can, you can still, stop and charge. But if you're not traveling, huge distances, I mean, for me, anywhere I pull my travel trailer is usually typically 3 hours or less. It's an 8,000 pound travel trailer. This would actually, work phenomenally for it. On top of that, not only that, but it will actually power the trailer at the campsite if I needed to, which is just phenomenal to think of. But again, it's designed for what it's designed for. Now, where I live in Canada, and many of you Canadians who might be watching this, yes, I know our infrastructure is really not completely there yet. In many parts of the United States, of course, as well. And so, if your hunting camp is 4 hours from home, this truck might not be for you, right? Because what are you gonna do when you get out there to charge it? I understand that. Doesn't mean the truck is junk. This is such a technologically advanced vehicle. I mean, it blows my mind. But I totally understand it's not for everybody, but for the people that it's for, it's absolutely perfect. And I will tell you firsthand, I wish we had some of the better infrastructure specifically where I live, because I love this truck. Now let me talk, and I've already been driving this, by the way, so we're starting off the video. I'm just starting to drive right now. I've already been driving it for a good half the day. I'm back out here again now, so I can talk to you after I've kind of driven the truck, been a passenger in the truck, and kind of get my feelings together as to how I feel about it. So now this truck is not a light truck. I think we're coming in, it's about 1,000 pounds lighter than the Hummer EV SUV. So I think we're in around 8,600 pounds, less than 9,000 pounds. So not light, but it's obviously, again, got tons of horsepower and tons of torque. It's also sitting on 24-inch factory wheels. So the first edition that I'm in comes with just about every bell and whistle. We got, we have a full glass roof on this one. We have the 17.7-inch screen, although you're gonna see that in some other models as well eventually. But there is smaller screens in the work trucks, just as a heads up. We have an 11-inch digital screen in front of the driver. I have a walk around of this, a full walk around video of this, so you can go check it out, and we can talk about you'll see where I talk about all the interior and stuff. Focus more on the ride today. But the point is, I'm in a very comfortable seat, which is air conditioned as well. Now, the only thing I noticed, it doesn't have, and I thought it'd be kind of a cool thing to have. Now, I don't know if it draws battery power or if they just felt it wasn't, I don't know, like a massive need, but we don't have the massaging seats in this. I thought that would be a nice touch to a truck that's, in this price range. By the way, the price of the truck that I am driving right now is just shy of $95,000 US. This truck will convert roughly between 117, 119, just shy of 120,000 Canadian for you Canadians out there. By the way, I only know the miles off the top of my head. I'm sure you can convert that to kilometers, but that's the information I was given, so I'm utilizing miles, for the range and so on. So where I am right now is I'm driving kind of on the outskirts of Detroit. We're kind of in a rural area. However, earlier today, and you'll see maybe some footage of this, I was on the freeway. We were downtown Detroit. So really getting a good feel for, all around with this truck. And very quickly, I do want to talk more, I talked about the four-wheel steer and everything else. I've talked about the power of this, but very quickly, I also want to just talk about the handling. It's very predictable in its handling. It doesn't fight you. It doesn't feel as though it's got a lot of body roll. In that case, really any body roll. It's pretty planted. So with the Ultium platform where they can, basically spread that battery out on this, it makes it really, for lack of better terminology, level, right? It makes it so that it doesn't feel tippy, it doesn't feel cumbersome. So, if I'm comparing this to, I've owned a Tahoe in the past, I've got a current half-ton truck right now, which obviously this kind of is like competes with both of those really to an extent. It handles equally or better than those do. So, steering with one hand right now, you would think that you're fighting an 8,600 pound vehicle, but no, you're not. It's very, very predictable in its handling, even at higher speeds, corners. It was interesting actually on the freeway, having the higher speeds going and Super Cruise on and having a few tight turns or construction coming up, and how it stopped and how it handled itself was very impressive. So I just wanted to mention that very quickly as well, that obviously as much as power and everything else is concerned, and quietness of the cab, all that, obviously handling is a massive thing. And the 24-inch wheels on this don't hamper it at all. So again, very impressed with the actual handling of the truck as well. Don't remember if I mentioned or not, but we have a 2-inch lift on this truck, so you can go up and down. 2 inches down, of course, for ease of getting out, and 2 inches up, so that you can clear some obstacles. So I think that that's kind of cool. It also, though, has the 4-wheel steer, which makes this what is a big truck. What I liked about it, park very easily. So getting in and out of spots is very easy. If you have some tight trails going into maybe where your camp is, if you are using this, a little more off-road, it works flawlessly. I just use it in Hummer EV, the similar idea with the 4-wheel steer, and I absolutely loved how it works. So again, all that being said, very impressed so far. Now, the quietness of the cab, I am very impressed with. Again, you gotta remember, there's no engine noise, so there's nothing, to like drown out their normal road noise, the tire noise, all that kind of stuff. Now, of course, the tires are, designed, they're 24-inch tires, so I'm not getting a lot of road noise that way. I'm not hearing a lot from outside, which I like. So I can talk to, my passenger, nobody here right now, but I could talk to my passenger throughout today, and we could hear each other, normally. We didn't have to speak loudly or whatever. Of course, the Bose stereo system in this works well. Can't put it on copyright issues, right? But the Bose stereo system works pretty phenomenally in this truck as well. Power-wise, so they have what they call the watts. I can never remember it. Wide open watts, so it's wow. So we have the WTF mode in the Hummer EV. Keep in mind, it is slightly different than that. The Silverado EV wow mode, again, was what they call it, is a little bit different in how you do it. We did it today. Maybe I can show you some quick footage on that. But essentially, it gets you moving. This, almost 9,000 pound vehicle with 700 plus horsepower gets you moving 0 to 60 in around that 5-second mark. So pretty impressive. Again, do we need that? No. Is it a cool thing to have? Absolutely. If I'm buying a $100,000 truck, I absolutely want some cool things like that, aside from just the cool features. I want some power behind this, right? Towing, I did get a chance to tow yet here today with some of the bigger stuff. I did tow with the WT mode in Canada about a week before I've come down here. 5,000 pounds, it wasn't like it's not even there. And of course, 10,000 pound range. I'm actually looking forward to this summer getting one of these and pulling my own travel trailer, which weighs a little over 8,000 pounds dry, around 8,000 pounds dry, and I usually have it quite loaded, so we're going to be right at that limit there. So it's going to be curious to see how that handles. But right now, again, power-wise, smooth. So I can honestly say I didn't have maybe the best of sleep, not last night at the hotel. It's just a different place. Sometimes that happens. But anyway, I was in the passenger seat and I was basically dozing off when my co-pilot was driving today because the truck was so comfortable, so quiet. Really liked it. Now we also utilized the Super Cruise because of course Super Cruise is on this RST model. I'm sure it's going to be offered, different models. I know they're going to be coming with an LT model as well. But the Super Cruise worked absolutely flawlessly as always. The only gripe that I have with it, and I think it's something we're going to see improved as time goes on. But the only gripe I have right now with the Super Cruise is that let's say we have our Google navigation on, right? They can't connect to one another. So Google the Google integration in the truck does not communicate with the Super Cruise. So let's say you are going on the freeway, you know, and you have an exit that you're supposed to hit. You literally have to be paying attention, which you should be anyways, of course, but you have to be paying attention, and you actually have to take it out of the Super Cruise in order to, well, you can signal over to get to it, but you're eventually gonna have to take it out of the Super Cruise to get off that exit. It doesn't, you know, intuitively know, it's not basing it off of your navigation the way you're seeing it to know that. So I think that's something that's gonna be coming down the pipe. Really like to see. I mean, you know, if they're gonna go away from the Apple CarPlay and the Android Auto, which I know a lot of you have issue with, and I kind of siding with you on that a little bit, then they really need to get this Google down where it integrates with the Super Cruise and it talks to one another, so that it's gonna, you know, take you off and, you know, take you off. Because right now it has lane change assist and everything else. And by the way, just like its counterparts in the HD and the half ton with the Super Cruise, obviously in the high country trim levels, this one will trailer as well. Again, keep in mind, if you didn't already know this, it does all its Super Cruise trailering. However, it will not automatically lane change for you. Even if you hit the signal, it won't switch lanes for you. You have to do that on your own. Again, that is something they're working on. But again, you're the one kind of giving information as to how long the trailers and so forth. So if there's human error there, that could be a big error in terms of like when it knows to pull over or not, because you could have put 2 feet difference in the length of the trailer and so on. So I think right now, again, they're going to be working on things to make that intuitive to work properly, but as of right now, currently, you know, Super Cruise will work, but that's the only thing on Super Cruise that doesn't work. You know, from a looks factor, I mean, holy man, you get a lot of looks with this thing, I guess polarizing one way or the other. A lot of people stopping you to ask you, like, is that electric? And, you know, people that don't know this, and, you know, a lot of you that are watching my channel, you follow trucks, so this is not news to you. Now, the other thing I like about this, obviously being electric, of course, it already has a torque. I talked about the wow mode. What I also like, though, is, you know, it's always like that power and demand. So I could be doing 45 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, hit it, and it's still gonna pull, it's still gonna go. So, you know, the electric power is just awesome. And again, as I've spoken to at the start of the video, it's just, you know, it's made great for the people who need it. Like for me, 90% of my driving is in town, so I could drive it all day, come home, plug it in, and then, you know, be ready to go the next day. By the way, this thing will charge up to, with the DC fast charging, it charges up to 100 miles in 10 minutes. So you could essentially get this thing up to 300 miles in like a half an hour stop between, you know, stopping, going to the bathroom, getting some snacks or whatever, you know, checking your route where you're going, you know, whatever. Especially if you have kids, it's always a minimum of a half an hour stop anyways, right? And if you're already at, say, 100 miles, did I say kilometers? I meant miles. It's 100 miles in 10 minutes. So, you know, aside from the drive and everything else that I'm obviously enjoying, I like the visibility in it, of course. I mean, it's a truck. Not a lot of blind spots I gotta be worried about, but of course you have tons of cameras in this thing. You have surround vision camera in this, and of course tons of, you know, warning signs, safety features, of course, because you have the Super Cruise. So all that kind of stuff is built in. But again, really impressed with the drive of this so far. Now, I'm somebody who drives a truck on literally a daily basis. I've driven trucks essentially my whole life, and so how do I say this? I am coming from a place where many of you are, in the sense that you are truck people who've always liked ice trucks. Again, am I saying this needs to replace those? No, I'm not, at least not at this point, obviously. Am I saying that it works phenomenally for some people and you definitely need to try it? Even if you're against it, you need to try one of these things at least before commenting on it, just you know, so you can say, yeah, okay, it is great, it is phenomenal, it does drive very well, it does have gobs of power. Yeah, it doesn't work for me, but I have to acknowledge that, you know, it's a great vehicle. And for me, that was easy. I mean, I'd already driven some vehicles. Actually, yesterday I had driven the Equinox EV. I'm not going to speak to that right now. There's going to be a video on that. I've driven the Blazer EV, which I can speak about. Phenomenal, you know, phenomenal drive there. So obviously I've driven other GM EVs. The Hummer EV, obviously I've spent a lot of time behind the wheel of, and I have to say that I really enjoy this Silverado. I've enjoyed the ride, both on the rough terrain roads, the pothole roads, the freeways, the ease of the Super Cruise. I really want to say thank you so much for watching. Keep an open mind when it comes to these, and if you ever have the opportunity to try one, I implore you to jump at it, because this is one phenomenal vehicle, super techy, and I like that kind of stuff. Until next time, take care.